Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, do you often find yourself wondering why marriages don't seem to last as long as they used to? And does it put some of you off from getting hitched? Well, Pat and Sue have been married for 30 years and we'll be talking to them about their secrets to a successful marriage, their working life together, and about setting up successful businesses even after having children. And we'll also be joined by their daughter, Nikki. We'll also be checking out a cooking and dining business success story with couple and business partners of Come Dine with You, Ian Samuels and Vitalina Andrade. And that wasn't a mistake, it is actually called Come Dine with You. And also we'll be hearing from Jonathan Pfahl, our business expert, on tips to improve your family savings. And we have a fitness tip from Jane and Delia on what makes people succeed in fitness. And we'll also have a surprise performance at the end of the show. But let's introduce, first of all, Ian and Helena with the news. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Chrissy?
That was a mouthful, wasn't it? Got there in the end.
It was indeed.
So
And can we say, first of all, it's your happy birthday week.
Thank you.
it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it was yesterday.
So it's good.
Getting older and wiser.
You've got a few months of
Not older.
celebrating.
But obviously wiser.
Definitely.
Oh.
So how are you both?
Yeah,
We're
really
both
well.
bouncing.
Really well. Glad
Bouncing.
to be here as always.
I know you've been very busy, so it's great
We
to have you
have, we
here.
have.
Yeah. Dashing
Thank
around all over
you.
the place.
Absolutely. I'm losing
fun.
weight.
You have. You lost
Oh,
weight.
it's terrible. Isn't it?
It's all good, isn't
It's
it?
all good.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Everything's fine.
So there's lots of exciting news, loads of exciting news. Also, as with you and your birthday, it's been Prince Harry's 30th birthday.
Yes, it's the Royal Prince and Princess
yeah,
week this
absolutely.
Oh.
So he's been having fun. I mean, Invictus is finished now, but he celebrated really purely by having a beer with one of his friends from Invictus. He was going to have a huge celebration, but because of Kate and morning sickness, etc., has postponed it, which is very gentlemanly of him.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
normally
that's
he would
nice.
have just
Well,
gone on and celebrated.
I don't know what.
You think you just postponed it?
It depends what you call a beer.
Oh, no, a few beers, you know.
A few beers. Well, no,
Low-key.
because there was basically one of his best friends owns a nightclub, which is his favourite nightclub in London as well. So after the main reception at Kensington Palace, they went back for a few beers at his sort of favourite nightclub spot as
He's
well.
allowed. He's been a good
He's allowed.
boy.
He's been good. But who was at Invictus last week? Cressida.
Yeah, she was, wasn't she, and her friend?
Ian's theory
My theory.
that they're
Well, we
getting back
got the baby
Prince-
right.
that they're getting, yeah,
We got the
he did
baby
get the
right.
baby,
But
the
Prince
baby
Harry's
news
very
right.
good with his exes as well, isn't he? He does invite them all over the place.
Well, he didn't invite the other ones. Only Cressida
Yeah.
came.
No, I know.
Are they
We're
getting back
excited. We're
together?
waiting.
Are they not?
We
Let's
think
see.
so. We think so. So Beyonce and Jay-Z as well. I mean, they've had pretty bad press in that, you know, their relationship and is it on, is it off? But they have renewed their vows.
Oh, have they?
Which is lovely, yeah, in Corsica on her 33rd
Okay.
birthday. So they're very happy. So I'm really pleased for them. But one thing that they've been having a go at Beyonce about, which actually makes me laugh, is that she's been accused of photoshopping her thighs in her pictures. You know, that she puts on Facebook and all the rest of it, Twitter and everything. But I just think,
Photoshop
well,
and making them smaller or bigger?
making them, I think, smaller.
Because, you know, sometimes...
Yeah, I know. I think, well, you know, she can do what she wants.
Yeah.
Why, you know, what do you think?
What's right?
Really?
I'm glad you directed that question to Ian.
I take the Fifth Amendment on that one. Can I move swiftly on? I don't want to be talking about Beyonce's thighs, thank you very much.
As we move swiftly on, let's talk about, let's talk about gorgeous George Clooney.
Oh, do you like
so,
him?
So excited. I do.
Yeah.
I think he's great, actually.
He doesn't have any lips.
Oh, I've not noticed.
Yeah.
Oh, now all I'm going to see is him with no lips. No, but it's exciting because of Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey starts again this weekend. So now, you know, Sunday nights till Christmas, fabulous. You know, it's X Factor first of all. You know,
Have you been watching that?
I can do the sign now. I can.
X Factor, yeah.
And then directly
Simon Cowell's
after
been really
Downton
pushing
Abbey.
it.
So I'm talking about
Three X Factors a week at the moment because he's really pushing it.
you can't keep up though,
I think
can you?
it's
It's
a bit
too much. It's too much.
But no, switching back to Downton Abbey, George Clooney features in a Christmas edition.
Oh.
So keep watching. That's
Okay.
really
I haven't
exciting.
started watching it and I still
I don't
haven't
know, it
managed to
hasn't,
get...
but it's coming out soon, so you can start watching the new series.
maybe.
And that's if Downton Abbey survives, because the very first episode, it's already been revealed.
Da, 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 da.
there's a big fire at the house, and that's the opening scenes of the new Downton Abbey, apparently.
Well, that's not very pleasant, is it?
So, but apparently everyone
I bet
survives.
they get through it. Oh, it's going to be
Of course they do.
from rags to riches kind of story.
It's good. It's going to be good. It's
That's
gonna be
good. But also with George Clooney, funny story about 5 days ago. It was, are they getting married? Are they getting hitched in Chelsea? Is it Chelsea where the town hall is? Yeah. So all the press gathered outside because it was said they were going to, but they weren't. And they were just waiting to take loads of pictures. But they're actually getting married really, really soon in Venice.
Okay.
So we've gone around the place.
Nice.
I think it was going to be, well, somewhere where he was living, wasn't it?
We've been told so many
now it's
different
Venice.
places.
Now
that,
it's Venice.
You know, I don't think anybody's going to. Justin Bieber, him of the
Your favourite to talk about.
him of the sort of the license to the courts. He was booed off stage.
Oh, really?
The other day, it was New York Fashion Week.
It was a rock fashion week in New York.
And apparently he sort of came on stage and he was booed.
I sort of
But why was that?
understand.
What
I
happened?
don't know. I mean,
I think
it
he's
could
had
be in a room full of judges.
No, yeah.
No, I didn't say that.
none of his
I'm
fans-
only joking, folks.
Yeah, he was,
None of his fans
his
were
fans
there.
weren't there, and he's been a bit silly and young, hasn't he, and made some
Yeah,
mistakes.
yeah.
But he turned it around pretty quickly, and decided to, because he couldn't. He thought, what can I do? And he took all his clothes off. So he stood there in his
Not
underwear.
all his clothes off.
No, he stood there in his underwear, showing off his physique, and then all of a sudden the boos turned into claps and roars.
Oh,
and
dear.
It's one of those scenarios. Gosh.
Well, that's going to encourage him, isn't it? What's he going to do next?
I know, but I don't know.
I just dread to think. I mean, there's so many. This guy must have a regular source of lawyers. You know, he must be the lawyer's best friend in America. He just keeps on being involved in so many lawsuits.
But he just manages to get off.
He just manages to get off. Yeah.
He's got to change it. So, Kim Kardashian, as always, in the press.
Yes.
She's been accused of being a gym hog after she requested that a gym in Australia closes so that she can use the gym
That's so rude.
for herself. But I don't even think it was like a slot. She just wanted it to be closed just for her.
It's about selfish.
What do you think?
It's selfish because other people want to use the gym. Okay, if you want some private time, at least book like an hour or something in there. But the whole gym? Do you really need the whole gym?
Apparently so. And I was just comparing it because in 1993, Princess Diana was using gyms in Earl's Court and LA Fitness, just general gyms, and using it with everybody. And she was like the most famous person in the world.
But I mean,
we're on a different level, I understand.
It wasn't that so much, but if you remember, you're far too young to remember the two of you. But
1993?
There was a very... What can I say? There was a very famous scenario where photographs were actually surreptitiously taken in the gym when she was exercising. And this was really the tipping point of stopping the paparazzi.
Yeah, that was then actually, it was 93.
Sorry?
I think it was 93.
Yeah. And so, you know, with all of this now, I can understand privacy because I think the reality a lot of the time that the pressure a lot of these stars are under is just absolutely enormous. You know, I mean, the days when I was, a photographer or anything, you know,
Still a photographer.
Well, I know, but you know, sort of working with celebrities, we would have never sort of hounded stars like there's been today. Nowadays, there can be 200 or 300 photographers hounding a person. It gets to a point.
I suppose not only that, but it's just the
privacy laws have changed though,
Yeah.
so there's certain things really that photographers can't do so much now.
Well, yes and no. I mean, they still push the boundaries all the time, you know. And I've always been an advocate of the privacy laws. The French have a much better, stronger privacy law situation. That you know, if people or photographers, paparazzi, actually break these rules, they can be very, very heavily fined, and so can the magazines as well. You know, I mean, there's demands where an edition of the magazine has been pulled by a court after certain photographs have been pulled in. That costs the magazine a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've never believed, all my life I've never believed in allowing intrusion into people's private lives.
But do you think Kim Kardashian should have a whole gym shut down just for her in Australia? coming back to what we were
I'm feeling a bit left out of this program.
Sorry.
That's okay. Oh, we have to go to a break anyway.
Oh, we're gonna go
I'm just going to say congratulations to Will I Am on his new line of optics, new glasses called Ill Eye Optics.
Okay.
And they're retro and groovy and beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
So everyone watch out for
And on
them.
that note.
and can she have her pair on the...
Oh, the short we're here. Okay.
No.
Well, we do have to go to a break. Thank you
Okay.
so much for sharing
No
the
problem.
news and having a little debate there.
Thank you.
But do stay tuned, because after the break, we'll take a look at our fitness tip from Jane and Ilya on what makes people succeed in fitness. And we'll also be speaking to Pat Carney and his daughter Nikki about his roller coaster career path.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Before we go to our guests Pat and Nikki, let's first take a look at our fitness tip from Jane and Ilya on what makes people succeed in fitness.
Hi, I'm Jane. Welcome to our fitness tips for the week, and I'm with Elia, celebrity personal trainer. So it's lovely to have you with us again, Elia. Today we wanted to share with you our experiences of working with lots and lots of clients, and in our opinion, what makes people succeed, and sadly, what makes people fail. And I tend to work more with women, and Elia works with a lot of the guys. So in my experience, one of the things that I think the mistake that women make is that they search for shortcuts, they search for fads, and they search for cheats, and it's a road to nowhere. And I think if you can realise that there are no shortcuts, there aren't any cheats that work in the long term. Some of them work in the short term, don't they? But they don't work in the long term. If you can have that mindset at the beginning of your journey into fitness and strength and well-being, you're far more likely to succeed. Do you agree with that, Elia?
Yeah, and also I find with guys, they start to train with me, but they want to kind of go full out, full leather, like with heavy weights. Then they ache for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they lose the demotivation to come back. So I think just kind of progress your training with the weights, speak to a gym instructor and they can help you in the gym, and just build slowly, because then you can sustain this for longer, because we're trying to make sure it's a lifestyle change and not just some quick fix. So I would just say speak to some guys in the gym, they can help you, gym instructors, and slowly just build your weights up and you'll get there.
I agree with that, and I think set realistic goals, set goals that you're going to achieve. Don't say I'm going to lose a stone in a month, because you're just setting yourself up to fail. So set realistic goals, believe that you can do it. I think a lot of women I know lack self-esteem and self-belief. Try and believe in yourself, believe that you can do it, and put in your diary what you're going to do. If you're going for a walk with a friend or you're going to the gym, put it in your diary and make it something very real in your life, not just some general thing in your head that you're planning to do at some point. Put it in your diary and make the logistics work for you, and believe in yourself, and you'll definitely get there.
Definitely. Good guys, so I hope we take some tips on from that, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks very much to Jane and Ilya. Everything you said made a lot of sense. But now we have here with us Pat and Nikki. Hello, father and daughter.
Hello.
How are you both?
Good.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
great, thank you.
So we're going to talk a bit about your career first of all, Pat, because I know Nikki also influenced your dad in some areas as well. But can you sort of give us an overview first of all of the kind of things that you've done? And
Well, I've been
how
a
you got
teacher.
into it?
I've been a teacher for 25 years. I retired 7 years ago. That was kind of an underlying job that I kind of fell back on when other things went slightly wrong.
Yeah.
I was in a pop group, more than one pop group on several occasions, one of which went very badly wrong over in Rome.
Okay.
But we came back, started teaching again, did the pop band thing part-time, which was nice.
So you never let that die out then? The pop
Oh
thing
no,
you
I've always
wanted
been
to
mad
do?
keen on music. I taught myself to play guitar when I was 16.
Taught yourself?
Taught myself, yeah.
Oh, wow.
My grandma bought me a guitar for my 16th birthday. I taught myself to play piano, and I actually bought a keyboard with my first teacher's salary. Not the year, just the month.
Oh.
And that's why really I've had an interest in pop music right from whenever it was, 61 or so, something like that. So that's always been there as well. Sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time, with teaching at the background. And then latterly, when I met Sue, we got into other businesses.
And Sue's your wife?
Sue's my wife, yeah.
So tell us about some of the other businesses you've had then, because you've changed quite a bit, haven't you?
Yeah, well, when we decided to have a family, we decided we couldn't afford brand new equipment, so we bought some second hand. And in the buying and selling thereof, discovered that there was money to be made. For example, we sold one cot, there were 14 replies. So my wife said, let's go and buy some more cots and try and sell them for a profit as well, which we did within a week. And suddenly a business is born.
So just from that one opportunity
just that one
you
little
saw,
idea,
we
were suddenly in the baby equipment business from home. And even when Nikki was born, especially when Nikki was born, it just progressed.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it quite hard with such a young child?
Well, you need to ask Sue that one later, because I was still going to school and teaching.
Oh, wow.
So Sue was actually running the business from home.
Okay.
But she had quite a good technique. She'd sit on the bed with the paper, feeding the baby, running through the ads, the for sale ads, ringing them saying blah blah, and actually selling our equipment based on somebody else's ad, because they'd sold their cot and they were getting loads of replies.
She sounds quite smart, your wife.
Oh yes. There's a story behind that as well.
Really? You can tell me?
Well, that's why we've married 30 years.
Because we are going to be speaking about their successful marriage afterwards, because Sue's going to join us, because 30 years nowadays is like great. It's quite unheard of, isn't it?
I haven't heard it with anybody else,
So how about Nikki? Now you've obviously influenced your dad in some way. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I've been a performer all my life. I started off dancing when I was 2 years old.
Is that dad's influence, would you say?
Well, we decided to offer the opportunity, and she took like a duck to water.
I think I probably followed my best friend, who was a couple of months older than me. She was starting at a dance school, and your mum let me go as a hobby.
Yeah.
And then after university, I carried on being a dancer, and then I started singing, and.
But you got me into the television show.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
That was where you were at.
One of my friends messaged saying, do you want to be on a TV show? Because you and your dad get on really well. And they wanted a girl and the dad. So I applied and got us the job.
Without telling me at the time.
She didn't. But I bet you loved it, didn't you?
She said, do you want to go on telly? I went, yeah, go on then. Sometimes I've got to eat worms. And that was where she got me into it.
Yeah. So what was the experience like then, being on TV for the first
it was
time?
amazing, wasn't it?
We filmed for a week on location, so it was just really fun.
What was it, like a reality show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a fantasy reality show, because I was dressed as a king, Nikki was dressed as a princess, and these 8 princes tried to get a date through me with Nikki
that sounds fun.
without even seeing her. The fun bit was I got to have them dispatched into the moat if I didn't like them. That was the fun bit. But we had a fantastic time for 5 years.
Okay.
Really
So
good.
that was really.
So I got the bug from there.
Yeah.
I then joined an agency, and I did a music video, which Nikki saw and went, I want to do that. Yeah. So I gave her the name of the agent.
Well, no, it's always been my ambition to be in music videos.
Okay.
So when I saw that and heard about the different agencies and stuff, well, you saw that there was a music video coming up of a really well-known pop artist, and I applied for it. Okay. So then we ended up both being in this sort of industry.
Right. Is it tough though? I can imagine it can be quite difficult at times.
The toughest things are that everything's so last minute. So you can't really plan. But me in general in my life, I don't really like planning, so it's fine for me. But you have to be very adaptable and like readily available just to travel for a job. And
how important has it been, because we are going to talk about marriage afterwards, but how important has it been seeing your parents' relationship and sort of spurring you on in your love life for the future, even for your success in life in general?
Like, it's literally amazing having really supportive parents that let me do what I want to do, encourage me to do what I want to do, and just help me along the way, because they're not judgmental in what I've wanted to do. I mean, I went to university and then I started working, performing, dancing and everything. But they've obviously given me advice the whole way through. But I've witnessed a lot of friends who haven't had the same sort of opportunities that I have. Because, I don't know, maybe their parents them back a bit by saying what they should be doing in life. And
Right. So how come you've never sort of taken that approach then?
My mother always said to me, look, you can do whatever you believe you can do. Which is why I try the pop thing and the whatever.
Yeah.
And I just believe the same thing should be true for our young lady.
You're proud of her, aren't you?
Yeah.
I can tell. Oh, he's quite chucked about what you said. Okay, now tell us a little bit. We are going to meet Sue in just a moment after the break, but tell us a little bit about her. What was the first thing you sort of noticed about her? Why you fell for her in the first place?
Well, we met because she came to a guitar class I was teaching.
Had she seen you before and fancied you? And that was just an excuse to come to see
No,
you?
I wish. No, I'm surprised. To be honest, I was a mess in those days. You wouldn't believe it. And how the heck she decided to fancy me, I really don't know. The gods were shining on me that day, I've got to say. But she walked into the room. I was actually playing the piano, and she said, "Oh, got the wrong room." I said, "No, guitar class. I'm the teacher. I'm just doodling on the piano." So that's how we first met.
Okay.
And we were really good friends. I mean, in the proper sense of the word.
How long were you friends for?
Probably a couple of weeks.
Let's leave it on that. We're going to go to a break because we are going to meet the lovely lady that he tried to chat up, and let's see what happens, shall we? Okay, see you after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. We are going to meet Sue, Pat's wife, in just a moment. But first of all, let's take a look at our success story with dining and training company Come Dine with You. So today I'm here with Ian and Vitalina, who are the brains behind this fabulous concept of Come Dine with You. So I've just sampled the food. The food's absolutely amazing, by the way. But can you first of all tell us, Ian, like, how come you came up with the idea in the first place to do something like this?
Well, it's hard to explain because quite a lot of things it put into one. I've been a chef for quite a long time, and we wanted to do our own venture. So me and Vit were sitting down one time. I think was it 4 or 5 years ago we thought about this. Yeah. I was watching Come Dine with You.
Which I love that program.
Yeah.
Come Dine with me.
Come Dine with me, sorry.
We'll get there.
So it just clicked, didn't it? Come Dine with You, Come Dine with me. It made sense going to people's homes, doing different kind of food for them.
So you actually go to the person's house.
Yeah.
You cook. What do they choose from a menu?
Whatever they want. Whatever you say, if you think, okay, I've tried this particular dish in a restaurant and I want to eat it at home, then whatever you choose, we'll get either Ian himself will do or another chef. Will come to your home and do it. What
keeps you going? Because I'm sure with any business venture, things do get tough, especially in the current climate. What actually keeps you going through those struggles and keep fighting to make everything successful?
Our kids. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, with the good thing about this company is there's no loss. I mean, that's another thing, because to own a restaurant, we thought that's what his thing was, gastro pub restaurant, something, and then you think the money, can't afford that, then you think a restaurant, you need the gas, the electric, the staff, whereas this, everyone works independently, and it's more family business run. We try to help out my sister. I get my sister in, or
that's nice.
People more. You see younger people that need some work. He gets a lot of apprentices in through colleges as well.
I get students to come and help as well. So in a way, it's like inspiring them to get into the kitchen, see different things as well. You don't have to be in a restaurant to do good food. That's another key point why we keep going, because people will be surprised at what we can do in their home.
Who's been your inspiration?
Where do I start? Marco P. White. He's the reason why I became a chef actually. When I was 15, I think 15, 16, I was watching TV and White Heat. When I seen him on TV, I fell in love with his food, sorry, not him. But yeah, then from then I said I'm going to move to London, come from Lancashire. And that's how I started. This is a while back. So yeah, him, what else would I say? Marco, Gary Rhodes as well, what he's done for British food. Richard Neat as well as another famous chef, did a bit of time for him, fantastic chef, way before his time. Who else? Did work for Anthony Rob Thompson as well, he's another good chef for British food. Who else have we got? There's loads of them, to be honest. It's hard to put in one pot, but those are the reasons why I became a chef.
You're working together as a couple. What is that like? Is that hard? Do you sort of get fed up with each other, or do you enjoy it?
Let me speak first.
Sometimes we have some really good times, don't we? It's not that bad. It's like I'm used to. Sometimes I've seen him work with other people, whereas me gets frustrated. Whereas me, I know exactly what he just gives me a look, but then he knows.
Oh, that's the nice thing when you're with someone, isn't it? You just know from the looks what to say.
He knows, but then sometimes he knows when he's like, get this, get that, and then I just say yes, and so he knows he's stepping out of line and getting a bit rude.
But to be honest, it works well because it's very understanding. With anybody else, I don't know if I can get away with it as such, but we've got a good understanding. And when it comes to not just making the food, serving the food, it's the best person for me. I can have nobody else. It works hand in hand.
So Ian, you do quite a bit of charity work as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do a bit of volunteering for a place called the Welcome Project, which is like for people who've got drinking problems or having drugs and trying to get them back into the system of work. And I find that, to me, very inspiring, because you're meeting people from different lifestyles who struggled and all of a sudden trying to get back into the industry or back into the world of working again. What I do a cookery class just based around cookery, which is like skills for life, so it'll be basic cookery, so they're not making soups, meals on a budget, healthy cooking, just things like that. Just trying to get them back into the system and get confidence again in work.
Well, thanks so much. We've really had a lovely morning here. The food's been fantastic, and I think you're a great couple, and all the best for the future. Thank you. Welcome back. And now we've also been joined by Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hello.
Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've heard a bit about you before the break, because obviously Pat said you're great with business and everything like that. But I want to talk a bit about your relationship, your marriage, because you have been married for a long time. What's your secret? How do you keep it going? Who wants to speak?
Well, I think it's about give and take and making allowances. I know Sue has to make lots of those for me.
Have you? Yeah.
One or two.
Well, she's been very generous there. I've got a short fuse. And Nikki will agree on that one, I'm sure. But I do tend to come down very quickly as well. So.
And I don't sulk, so it doesn't really matter.
You don't sulk?
Jiffy. I don't sulk.
No,
that's so good.
No, she doesn't sulk.
That's great. Gosh, because you know what, sometimes our first reaction when we're upset with someone is to kind of give them the silent treatment, and that is really like a big problem in a lot of relationships, isn't it? But how do you do it?
She is very
just let things go over like your head.
Yeah, sometimes I plan to sulk. I think I'm going to sulk for a whole day. An hour later, I'm like, "Hi, what do you want for tea?"
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, you forget. You're like my mum, I think, because she's like that as well. She's such a sweet character, and she sort of doesn't hold grudges against anyone or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us a bit more about Sue. What do you love about her?
Well, I'm always very relieved when she does kind of come out of any potential sulk as quickly as she does, because I don't like not being friends with her. And it's usually my fault that we're not, because I've been a bit...
Oh, if I want to really upset him, I have to pretend not to be friends with him. He can't stand it.
Oh. But you can't help yourself because he's so sweet, right?
That's a great weapon.
I know. Just melt.
Yeah.
And we get on great because we've got very similar interests. Our musical tastes are the same. We watch the same kind of television programmes.
Yeah.
We're just interested in a lot of the same things, really. We're both linguists as well. She's very good at languages, and I'm reasonable.
Okay. And Sue, what do you love about your hubby here? Or don't you want to say on TV?
He's talented.
Yeah.
I like talent.
Oh, that's
Thank
nice.
you.
I didn't meet him till I was 28, and so I'd had quite a few unsuitable men, so I got them all out of my system. So I wanted somebody normal, talented, good looking. Well, he wasn't good looking at that time, but within a few weeks, we got the razor out.
Did you groom him and everything?
I was groomed in the nice sense of the word.
Into the shops, and he looked great.
Okay. What do you like sort of at leisure time to do together? What's your favourite thing to do?
Listen to music, watch television together for about an hour a day, don't we?
Yeah, we like to be able to go into our lounge late on and just put on whatever programme we've saved on the Skybox.
So you make sure you have like quality time together.
We've got a lot of the same taste in television. He watches sport on his own. I don't join him with that, but and crime dramas and things. But there's a lot of documentaries and.
We're both into kind of cosmology, astronomy.
Well,
and
loads
like
of documentaries.
But there's other stuff, anything sciencey or history.
And what is it like
ocean
working
stuff,
together
anything.
as well?
Well, we've got a fairly big house, so, and we can take breaks whenever we want because we're working for ourselves, so it's very flexible. So if he's grumpy, I can just go and have a break.
Okay.
He's not very often grumpy.
But we share jobs as well. So, but most of the jobs are interchangeable. Sue does a lot more of the accounting side, paperwork and stuff.
I'm very organised. I decide who's going to do what, so I just press his buttons and say.
Well, that's right. It's nice to be organised by somebody else.
I like you, Sue.
Yeah.
Nikki, what about you? What have you seen in them that maybe you'll take for your own relationship?
I don't know really.
Are they fun to be around?
Yeah.
Because I remember my parents like chasing each other around the house and doing all sorts of silly things, and like it was a lot of fun at home.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
I mean, like we like to go out for lunch quite a lot, and I try and drag them out for dinners because we love trying new restaurants and different types of food, because we're all quite adventurous with our foods, and especially me, because I've travelled so much, I like to try all different types, and then I'll drag them along and make them. I made them try sushi for the first time a few years ago in California. They'd never tried it in their life.
Really?
So things like that, and just they're both very passionate about various things in life. So that's that's something that I'm impressed with, and me and my mum are always really surprised. Dad will come out with knowledge about motorbikes, guitars, registration numbers and stuff, like really random things, and me and my mum will just look at each other and be like, how's
I've known him 30 years. I didn't know that when he was young he could tell what a motorbike was just by the smell of it in the street.
So he's full of surprises then, keeps you guessing. That's great.
It was from the sound, not the smell. She got close.
All right. Okay, just before we go, if there are sort of couples watching that are like maybe sort of not very stable in their marriage, what would maybe be your top tip that you would give to them to maybe, get closer again? What would you say? I know it's a tricky question, but maybe something that you...
Well, it's give and take, isn't it?
It's give and take.
Mutual respect and consideration.
I think a hug breaks the ice as well sometimes. Just a hug. Sneak up. Well, I've got a chaser to get one.
Just imagine them chasing.
I was quite quick in my early days.
And not letting an argument build up, because you never end up like shouting for a long time or arguing for a long time. And some couples just row, and that's something you don't do.
No.
We never row about anything important because we're very compatible. So we might row for 2 minutes, sometimes
silly, like...
stupid things, and then I just walk out and slam the door, and it's over.
So your daughter's already seen things that she's going to buy, which is great.
When she was little, we used to have rows in whispers, didn't we? Because I had this rule when she was little, she could never hear us row. Oh. So if we were having a row, it had to be in a whisper.
Wow, that must have been
hard.
It was hard for him.
I got a very loud voice.
But he managed it,
It's been great speaking to you. Lovely family, and we'll hear again from you very soon, I hope.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so do stay tuned, because after the break we'll be joined with Jonathan Pfahl, our business expert, to discuss with us tips to improve your family savings, and I'll also be answering one of your questions, and we also have a surprise performance, so make sure you stay tuned.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Now we have a "What would Chrissy do?" question, and this one is from Marie, and she says, "Hi Chrissy, my dad walked out on the family over 10 years ago. He recently got in touch with us, but I don't really think I want to be around him. I'm getting married soon and have decided that I don't want him there. I know he's trying to make amends, but he treated us so badly. We're all trying to be civil to him, but I just don't and can't trust him. What would you do, Chrissy?" Now, Marie, I think this is really, really personal, and obviously I don't know what went on. You haven't gone into details about, what happened in the past with your father, and I do understand your concerns, because he's not been around, he's not been a dad to you for so long. And you asked what I would do. I personally believe that people can change. And if I were in your situation, I would probably maybe just meet up with him and just see what he had to say, because you don't know. It's been a long time. You don't know what's happened in these 10 years, if he's changed. Anything could have happened. So I would at least give him the opportunity, if it was my dad, to sit down and have a talk. And then I think you'll be able to get a good sort of feeling for what he's really like or what's going on from there. But as I said, this is something very personal. You know what you've been through with him, but sort of having lost my dad recently, I would want to sort of think that, you know, don't miss out on an opportunity if there is an opportunity there for amends. So that's what I would do, and I do wish you all the best with the situation with your dad. And if you have a question at home as well, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. But now we're going to go across to Jonathan Pfahl, who's our business expert on the show, with tips on how to improve your family savings. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi, Chrissy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. It's good to see you again.
You too. Now, I know you've been travelling, but you're back now.
Back in the UK, as always. Good to be home.
Okay, great. So you're going to be talking to us about family savings. And obviously we had a lovely family before the break, and they were doing their businesses and stuff. What did you think about their story?
I thought it was a fantastic story, and it's so nice to see such a loving family where Pat and Sue obviously work together in the business, but have really given Nikki, their daughter, so much support and inspiration for her to go out and do what she wants to do, great, which really at the end of the day has been following in Dad's footsteps into the music and performance industry. So it's cool. It's great. It's always great to see families like that, because it's not everyone in the UK, is it? No,
it's not, unfortunately. I wish it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
But tell us how we can improve family savings, because obviously money is a big pressure on a household.
It is.
If there's not enough of it, that is.
No, it can be, and obviously for a lot of families out there it is. And I can speak as I always do, to speak as generally as possible to make sure that people can get some sort of, use one of the tips that are here, but also, talk about from personal experience as well. Mm-hmm. So within all families, we all feel that, mum and dad raising young children, there's always going to be large expenses, and the older they get, often until they leave the nest, the expenses do nothing but continue to increase. And I'm sure families out there listening to this might agree with that. Yeah. So you've got to have, the first point that I would give any family trying to save more is you've got to have a reason why. You've got to have a specific goal that you're trying to save for. Otherwise, the sacrifices that you have to make in order to get to that goal, if the why isn't big enough, it's too easy to just continue to spend.
You lose track as well, wouldn't you?
You do lose track, and you see families with the Excel spreadsheet, and they say we're dedicating this amount to groceries and this amount to social occasions and this is much for the school fees and etc. etc. But if the why isn't big enough, if there isn't enough motivation to cut down to achieve it, it will always be a struggle. So whether it's you're saving X amount every month or each year to have that one wonderful family holiday, or whether it's to have enough saved to provide the education for for the children once they leave school, or for their private school fees, it has to be personal, really, to the parents as to what they're doing it for, which will drive them forward to make the sacrifices.
Okay, yeah.
And the second point is that it's easier to cut out lots and lots of small luxuries rather than the big ones.
Like the coffees from the coffee shop every morning.
The coffee shop, the brand of food that one purchases, maybe the grocery store that one goes to as opposed to others. I find it's easy, or the number of dinners out, for example, that people might go on and try and bring that down, rather have people around to yours for dinner rather than going out for dinner. So if you've got a big goal in mind, then the step then to improve and increase the savings in general it's easier to cut out the smaller things rather than sell the car and take the bus, for example, which is
there's lots of little things here and there. It does add up in the end.
It does. But that's the general stuff. The two other things I wanted to say was, and I think Pat and Sue were a great testament to this, when Pat was saying earlier on, when they sold their first cot and realised the type of profit that could be made, I thought, actually, hang on a second, we could do something here where we buy 14 cots and sell them all for a profit.
Right.
It's a brilliant idea to think that if you're both working and you're looking for other ways to find out or generate more income, little business ideas like that, whether you're selling or trading on eBay or other types of trading sites, there are a number of different opportunities that you can do in your spare time to generate some extra income. And I think Pat and Sue were a really good example of a business that obviously it has grown over the years substantially, but you can start small by creating different ways by generating more revenue. Because to have more savings, you either make more money or you cut down your costs, or you combine the two. And there are always different ways that if viewers listening to this could think, well, actually, maybe there is things that we could do. Maybe there are things sitting in our house now that we could actually sell for a profit. Yeah. And the last thing I want to say is children. And what I mean by that is kids are expensive. And every parent listening to this will be thinking, you're damn right they are, Jonathan, they are. And I, from a very, very young age, from personal experience, I was always taught the value of money. Mm-hmm. And from the time I was 7 years of age, if I wanted money, if I needed money for something, I had to earn it.
Oh, wow, that's good.
It was.
No wonder he's like this today.
Do you know what? And I thank my parents dearly for it. Mm-hmm. I used to wash my parents' cars. They had one car each. I used to wash them both for $5 because I grew up in Australia. So let's just call it £5. And then when I was old enough to use a lawnmower, I'd mow the lawns for extra as well. But when I was 9, the summer had just hit Sydney, and I wanted to buy a new surfboard, right? Mm-hmm. And the surfboard I wanted was $130, which for a 9-year-old, that's a lot of money. And I did my sums, and I realised if I washed Mum and Dad's car every week, I'd earn $10 a week. And by the time I had $130, the summer would be over. Aww. So in my little high-pitched voice at the time, I went up to my father and I said, Dad, how can I get out of this? You know, I need more money. What can I do? And he said, well, son, why don't you take your bucket, take your sponge, take your chamois, and walk around the neighbourhood and knock on people's doors and offer to wash their car for them. But rather than charge them $5, like I pay you, charge them $10. So I was 9, and it was my first ever day of being a businessman, right? I was very, very lucky, but it was hilarious because my next door neighbour happened to be having a large Sunday lunch with a number of his friends. Oh, gosh, and as I walked in, that was the first client I knocked on the door of, and there I was with my little bucket, and he happened to be the chairman of a very well-known Australian wine company, and he was about 3 hours into his lunch. So when I knocked on the door with my little voice and I said, hi, Mr. Such and Such, would you like your car washed? He said, hang on a second, walked into the dining room and said, who wants their car washed? And everyone put their hand up. Customers. And there were 15 cars in the driveway. And I literally, on day one, made $150. The poor guests had to wait. The poor guests had to wait about 4 hours for their cars because there was one little guy, scrubbing away. But
it was worth it.
But then every other weekend after that, I had my little car washing business, and it just grew from there. My point being, as a parent, the majority of where your extra income goes when you have children is on them. Yeah. And as we heard tonight from Pat, Sue and Nikki, Pat and Sue encouraged Nikki to go out and be who she wants to be, but at the same time would have taught her, I'm sure, the value of what hard work means and what it earns. And if you can get your kids to really believe that, because that is life, as we know, that is true. If you can get children from a young age to actually learn what money is and the value of money and how you should go out and earn it and work hard and ideally think about doing it for yourself as an entrepreneur.
Why not?
It'll save you a lot of money as a family if your kids are doing what they can for themselves.
That's brilliant. Jonathan, thank you so much. Excellent advice as usual.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we have reached the end of the show. Thank you so much. But now let's have our surprise performance singing a cover of Happy by Pharrell Williams.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm clapping along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm clapping along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm clapping along if you feel like My level's too high, bring me down. Cannot bring me down. My level's too high.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for inviting us down today. I've had a really great afternoon, and morning rather. Oh, shut up, let me start again, sorry. Sorry. I'm not telling you to shut up, by the way, I was telling myself to shut up.
All right.
All right.